Hi and welcome to this video. It's the first video I've made in a long time, and it was a kind of impromptu decision to make it. It was based on a post that I posted on Facebook recently about so-called plus size modeling, and the post generated a lot of interest, both positive and negative, as one might expect with an issue so sensitive. And it's not my intention, it wasn't my intention to cause offense or to insult anybody or to judge or simply criticize or be nasty or anything like that. So, anyway, I'm not here to justify why I posted it, but here to talk about why I think that being fat, whether you want to call it fat or obese or morbidly obese or overweight, is not something to be celebrated and is in fact unhealthy, unattractive, and life-threatening. Now, I can I can speak from experience, although I've never been morbidly obese. I certainly have suffered obesity over the last 15 years. Haven't always been obese, but I've certainly struggled with my weight and overeating in the past 15 years. And so I know about the struggles that people face with their diet and with their attachment to foods. I've got a very strong attachment to food, so I know how difficult it is to diet. But I'm not blaming anyone else. I'm not blaming the food industry. I'm not blaming the government. I'm not blaming corporations for my overindulgence. I'm blaming myself for my lack of discipline. You see, I'm trying to be honest and truthful and say that I'm the one with the problem. Yeah. My overeating is down to me. It's nobody else's fault. Yeah. And what I put in my body will determine my well-being, my energy, my mood. And so it's important that I put healthy fuel in my body. But as regards to this weird and quite ugly obsession that people have now with not both with um, being stick thin, like these stick thin models with bags under their eyes who look like meth or heroin addicts. I mean, that's not something we should promote either, and that's been going on since the 1960s with models like Twiggy, and then we had Kate Moss in the 90s, I think it was the 90s, and other models, and we were promoting this emaciated skeletal look as something to be admired and revered. And I'm not saying that that's healthy either, but neither is going to the other extreme and celebrating morbid obesity. I mean, I've got a list of diseases here that I've got a list of diseases here because I'm no nutritionist. My knowledge of nutrition is fairly rudimentary. So, but I'll just list the complications that can be caused by being overweight, and you can tell me whether this is a cause for celebration or a warning. Type 2 diabetes, infertility. Imagine if all the women out there could not give birth, weren't able to have children because of being morbidly obese. Is that something to be celebrated? I don't think so. High blood pressure. Heart disease. Now, most deaths are caused are a result of heart attacks or cardiac arrest, cardiovascular disease. So we don't want that happening to us, you know. So why would putting a strain on our heart be something to be um, celebrated? Why should we put that on show for people to say, "Hey, you know, you look amazing when your heart's under stress"? I mean, come on. So heart disease. I mean, that's a major one of the number one killer across all countries, all cultures in the world today, and we're putting this on show, saying that this is a good thing. Okay, we're not directly saying that heart disease is a good thing, but I mean that's what's happening inside those bodies of people who are, you know, now turning up on the catwalk, saying, "Hey, look at me! Don't I look great? You know, I'm healthy." Well, you might think that you're healthy. Actual diseases might not be showing up now because you're only maybe 25 years old, but eventually they'll show up and you'll know all about it and you won't be smiling, you know, and other people won't be smiling. And the people that warned you about, you know, taking care of your diet and your appearance, you know, maybe they had a point and you won't get so angry and your feelings. I mean, okay, it's hurtful to say, to be called fat. I understand that. I was called fat various times in my life, but you know that's a warning to do something about it. You know, it's not that people are just deliberately trying to hurt your feelings, but even if your feelings are hurt, that's a small price to pay for doing something about your health, is it not? So the next complication is certain cancers like breast cancer, colon cancer, and endometrial cancer. I'm not sure what that is, but so forgive my ignorance on that one. But breast cancer, I mean, women having to have their a mastectomy or breast removed, I think that's what they call it, or their breasts removed. I mean, one of the things that makes them most feminine and allows them to uh, feed their babies through breastfeeding. They're going to lose that, and colon cancer, something that killed a family member of mine due to morbid obesity. He was morbidly obese, died at the age of 54. Um, were people afraid to tell him that he should like stop eating fish suppers and haggises and pies and God knows what else by the ton? You know, that's what he was doing. He used to have eating competitions with a friend of him, and they both dropped dead. One and he dropped he died of colon cancer, and he had to be looked after for 18 months before he died. You know, died a young man, and he was a very talented man, a well loved man, but because of his overeating, because and his brother who was thin did warn him. He says, you know, you better cut down on your eating habits, or you're gonna you're gonna enter an early grave, and that's exactly what happened. Meanwhile, his brother lived to be 89 years old. So is that not a warning? The next disease on the list is stroke. I mean, stroke is a terrible, terrible illness. It does completely incapacitate you. I had a very good friend who had a double stroke several years back, and now he can't walk. He's paralyzed from I think he's paralyzed from the waist down. I mean, he's got to get taken to the bathroom. He's got to get fed. I mean, he can't talk properly. He can't go anywhere without assistance, and he's in a wheelchair. And all this because he didn't look after his body. People people didn't tell him, that you should lose weight, man. You should really, look at your diet and your lifestyle, and really seriously, man, you know, um, it's not about shaming people. It's about letting them see the patterns of denial, breaking, allowing them. If you're a friend, if you're a true friend, you'll be honest. You'll be truthful. You'll stop lying. Stop lying and telling people they look amazing when they don't look amazing. You know, you're not helping them. You're harming them. You're hurting them. You see. The next disease on the list is gallbladder disease, and that's, that can cause gallstones, and that you know that that's another deleterious condition, um, which affects the gallbladder, the liver. One of your most important organs. Speaking of the liver, there's also fatty liver disease, which is another major health problem that's very common now in overweight people. High cholesterol, which also contributes to cardiovascular disease. Sleep apnea, if that's how you say it, and other breathing problems. Well, if you have breathing problems, you're contributing to an early grave. So everybody knows that morbidly obese people have trouble breathing, and if you can't breathe, you die. So how many well-known people do you know that have died from being obese, like John Candy, Chris Farley, James Gandolfini, Elvis Presley, all very talented, gifted, charismatic people? Were they told that, dude, you really need to do something about this? I'm telling you this out of love. I'm telling you this out of respect, not to insult you, not to hurt your feelings, but really to to be square with you and be honest with you, be truthful with you, and say, man, you got to do something, because you know you're headed right down under if you don't, because that's exactly what's going to happen. Chronic lower back pain, okay, that's not life threatening, but I've suffered from that myself, from being 2.5 stones overweight. I've lost 35 pounds this year, but I'm still 2 stones overweight, and I'm on a keto diet. I've cut down on carbohydrates almost to the point of zero. I follow a high fat, high protein diet, or moderate protein diet. I don't like it, it's no fun, but I've lost 35 pounds this year, and not that I'm proud of myself or anything, but I had to do it, and I've reversed my pre-diabetes because of it. Therefore, I've lowered my risk of by 4 times of having a stroke or a heart attack. You see, so it's important that my friends and family were warning me, but it's okay to tell a guy, but it's not okay to tell a woman. How many guys out there are on the catwalk promoting their big bellies? Doesn't happen, right? But Lord, help the guy. Hell be delivered on the guy or woman who points out that, to some poor girl that's preening on the catwalk, saying, hey, look at me. How amazing do I look? Look how healthy I am despite being fat. It's not cool. It's not good, and it's not healthy. You know, wake up and be truthful. Come on. Arthritis. That's another thing. That's a terrible, painful, debilitating condition. It just gets worse as you get older. That's also influenced by obesity. Osteoarthritis, particularly of the knees, and so that goes into the bones. And that's not a complete or exhaustive list. You understand? That's um, just the main conditions that can be caused by being overweight. So, if anybody, I understand that it's a sensitive issue, but people have to get real about it. If you were an addict or an alcoholic, and people said, "Oh, it's okay, you look amazing, continue with your behaviour, keep doing what you're doing," what's going to happen? Person's going to, keep on with their dysfunctional behaviour, maybe drink themselves to death, get cirrhosis of the liver, cirrhosis of the liver, And this is exactly what happens to millions of alcoholics. You know, because even more with alcoholics, because it's socially acceptable to drink. What about people who have a problem with drugs, like I used to have? What if people didn't turn around and say, "Hey, Indro, you're an addict," but it's okay, you know, you're cool, you're healthy, continue smoking weed all day, you know, continue sniffing cocaine or using crack, whatever, taking ecstasy, continue with your reckless, indulgent lifestyle, and you know, it's cool, you know, and it's all in the name of diversity, you know. It wouldn't be cool if I was in a box, in a coffin, in a casket, my ashes. And it might be cool for some people who don't like me, but if I'm, you know, if I'm not here anymore, and what's cool about that, you know? So why can't we be truthful? And if it's okay to say, hey, you're a junkie, you're an addict, you're an alcoholic, why isn't it okay to say you're fat? Do something about it, you know, for your own good. So that's why I posted the photo of the girl. It wasn't any stranger. It was a plus. It was a plus sized model, whatever the hell that means, and it's fucking stupid. And I laughed because this is a woman saying fat is good, fat is healthy, fat is beautiful. It's not beautiful. It's not healthy, right? And it's not about being judgmental. It's about telling the truth. Truthfulness is the highest virtue, is it not so? I mean, we live in a society now where if you tell the truth as you see it, you're cancelled. You're the bad guy, you know? And it's wrong, man. It's wrong. So I say bring back truth and allow people to express their views, express their opinions, and stop this nonsense. Stop promoting obesity as healthy and okay. It's not okay and it's not healthy. Thanks for listening. I'll leave it